All right, we are now live on the long form. So now we're going to turn on the vertical form. Oh, it's Hey, that wasn't my fault. It wasn't on me, Paul. The pineapple told me to do it. Yeah. Man, this vertical one's taking me a minute to get to, guys, so I apologize if you're watching the long form. We're always having fun, Paul. It's always a fun day here. Oh, you want to do an hour-long intro while I get this set up? All right. Guys, guess what? We are live on everything right now. Hopefully, yes, we don't know if the computer will puke because I'm not even streaming at high bit rates. I'm streaming like at 2500, 3000. So anyway, everybody, I hope, Paul, can you hear yourself? Did we do that test yet? All right, I'm going to do this. Now let me know if you can hear yourself.
Testing 1, 2. Yep, now I can hear myself. Yeah.
Okay, so everybody, welcome to 4GQ TV here. We had a little bit of a late start and then a later start with all these technical issues. I'm using Meld software. It's my first time really using it in production, so I just made a quick background. I worked hard on that neon sign. Paul does not like the pineapples. Maybe I'll put a little cross line through with the circle like the Ghostbusters. So this week has been an interesting week. We 4GQ TV attended the Sunscreen Film Festival. I also got to watch Until Dawn. I watched it, you know, I paid for my movie ticket, so it's my honest opinion. And there's been some news in the gaming space about console prices rising across the board. Nintendo was technically the first one to announce, you know, their higher priced console. But, man, I got so many opinions on this. And you know what? Paul does too. So let me introduce the guy who will always say no to pineapple, who would throw the pineapples at you if you try to put it on his pizza.
Yep. Even the ones in the can, Paris. Yeah, those are coming back at you someday. We're going to meet each other, and a can is going to come whizzing past your head. Yeah.
Oh, Paul. Paul, welcome to the show. How you been?
I gotta say, I've had better days, and not just because of the price increase, other stuff going on too. But of course, Diablo 4 started a new season, so I've been playing that. Been playing WoW. Been playing a little bit of everything, actually. All the new big games that are out, I'm playing them. So there you go.
Yeah, man, there's so many good things that dropped recently, like Oblivion, the remastered edition. I'm having a lot of fun in that. It is difficult to an extent. At least I can fast travel places because I forget where I'm going already. Yeah. And
well, it also has the clairvoyance thing to kind of point you to your quest thing too. So I'm sure you use that a lot.
Oh, I use that all the time. And then also Expedition 33 dropped.
Yep. Which I started. I haven't got that far past the first part, but yeah. Wow. Too many games, not enough time. I also want to throw in that I watched basically 2 main movies this last week. I watched what's it called? The Wolfman from this year, 2025. Not a good movie, not great.
Oh, Paul,
no.
you heard my You're hurting me, Paul.
And the better movie, Nosferatu. I actually did really enjoy Nosferatu.
What? Nosferatu?
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu?
It's based on an old silent, vampire. One of the first vampire movies they ever did. So,
sorry, guys. Well, Paul, I'm glad that you liked it. Maybe it's because you liked the classic and you went in there with knowing what the classic.
No, I really wanted to like the Wolfman, but it did not work out. No.
Was that based on anything? Or was that a brand new one?
Well, it's I guess it was supposed to be based on the old Wolfman story, but it wasn't. It wasn't really based on the universal Wolfman. It's about a guy who gets scratched by a creature and becomes. Yeah, well, it wasn't good. It just no. There was. Put it this way: if I would have been a consultant on that film, I would have corrected a couple of things. So. They did flashback to like the late 80s, early 90s, something when he's supposed to be a kid and some stuff, and then bring it back forward. And I'm like, yeah, that's not real. That's not the way it works. But it kind of took me out of the movie, and the whole plot idea kind of fell short for me. I mean, I could see what they were trying to do. It didn't work for me. So.
Sad to hear that, man.
Yep.
I like werewolves, so it's kind of like I want it to be good. Is that the one by A24?
I believe so, yeah. The one they did earlier this year, yeah.
Okay. So my opinion on Nosferatu is that I did not like it. I felt that it was too dark at times. I felt like there was plot points that could have developed further. Like, for example, it's not really a spoiler now. Everybody's pretty much seen it that wanted to see it, but when they went to the gypsy town, like, what happened the next day? They all disappeared. Were they all ghosts?
They were all lunch.
So they all died?
Well, possibly. I'd have to go back and watch. But the idea of being like, they even touched on the ship travel. It was loosely based on the whole the last voyage of the Demeter. From the vampire being transported from one country to another type of thing.
Yep.
And then it's all of a sudden it's a plague ship. It's a ghost ship. So yeah. The rats came running off. Hey, Dreadpool. So I mean, I got that part. I mean, the idea being that he's like a plague. He comes in and he does his thing, and strange things happen. And
so he didn't come in like a wrecking ball. It came in like a plague.
No, and thank you, because you didn't want to see that naked. No, you didn't want to see that naked on a wrecking ball. Yeah.
So I'm glad you liked it. I mean, it really wasn't for me. I thought, I will say though that I thought the aesthetics of the movie were great. Like, I really think they did a great job making it feel like that it was from a different time. And I really thought, like, the some of the acting was great, but I didn't really like the story, the plot line. I felt like they could have went more places with it. As far as Wolfman, I haven't seen that, but I do want to see it because I like werewolves. Werewolves are like the best monster there is. It blows away all the universal monsters.
There's a difference between a werewolf and a wolfman.
What?
What's a werewolf Wolfman? Actually turns into a wolf. A wolfman is a wolf in man's form.
Oh, okay. I'll have to study that a little bit more. I didn't know that.
That's why whenever I was a teenage werewolf, it's a little off because he actually doesn't turn into a wolf. But the American Werewolf in London, he actually transformed into a wolf. So yeah,
that has a good song to it. Oh woo! Werewolf in London. Yeah.
No, that wasn't used in that movie. In that movie, they used Bad Moon Rising. I saw a bad moon rising. It's how they opened the whole movie. Jeez. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't my thing, but you might like it. I thought there were too many loose plot holes and just weird stuff going. I watch some of these movies, and at this point now, I watch them and go, yeah, this person's stupid. They deserve whatever death they get. It's like that commercial where you see where they it's those commercials where they're being chased by something. And, let's run in there where it's safe behind all those chainsaws. It's like you're kind of asking to die.
So that brings me to this point, right? I saw Until Dawn. It's that movie by Sony Pictures based on the video game.
Right.
It's produced by Gary Doverman written by Gary Doverman and produced by Loretta Lotson and David F. Sandberg. I think I got their names right. I'm bad with names. Paul will fix it later if I am. Anyway, so it expands on the Until Dawn universe to a sense, right? It's got some of the characters in there, and it introduces you to the movie world. And when I did the interview with them at WonderCon, basically what they were saying was that this is to build up that universe, create additional characters and stories for that universe, and hopefully it, continues with the sequel and supermassive add stuff from the movie universe into their games. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if it's doing well. I think the Rotten Tomatoes score is not that great for it. Somebody also gave it a bad score because the screen went out in the theater and they blamed the movie and said,
yeah, I saw that. That's stupid. The movie was crap because the projection system went down for 15 minutes.
And they didn't even give me a refund. Yeah, it's not Sony Pictures' fault, man. However, I think the acting was great. Introduced some younger actors that are newer to the scene, like Michael Cimino, Ella Rubin, Odessa Zayan. So it's got some new acting in there. Belmont something. Sorry, I can't remember your name. I didn't meet him, but yeah, it's good, man. I really liked it. It's a great popcorn flick. Like, don't go in expecting to be super scared. I know some people in horror movies like to be super scared and whatnot, but this it's sort of
the game. I'm betting there's only going to be mostly jump scares, and they're going to be they're not going to be really scary. It's just going to be like boop, and then it's over.
They didn't use music either to elevate the mood.
Really? No. So no. Okay. Yeah, we've actually talked about with some of the people we interview, that part of a good horror movie can be using the music to kind of get the blood flowing with the. So yeah, you kind of know what's coming, but you don't know when, type of thing. So it kind of drives the tension.
They didn't do it with this one, which was interesting. And I did bring that up in one of the interviews, and they said that they want to rely more on the atmosphere of the actual scene in the movie than the music to kind of bring you to that moment, like older horror movies were great with, right? So It's more like listening to the footsteps, watching for shadows.
And like, what's his name that we interviewed a few weeks ago, we talked about exactly that, for that sound become a very important part of that film. I haven't seen Until Dawn yet, the movie. I have played the game. I have not seen the movie, and I'm not paying $60 to get the PC version. I will, wait till it goes on sale. But the movie I'll see as soon as I can. I just looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a score of 53 with the viewer thing is 68%. So the viewers are thinking more of it than the critics did, which is kind of normal for horror movies.
Yeah, I got to get my opinion up there to help elevate it, because I thought it was, and I'm not a horror fan, right? And I liked it. Maybe it's because it wasn't super scary. It was predictable in some sense, and you could kind of predict what was happening. So I liked it. Yeah, it was good.
I'm glad that they didn't frame by frame do the game, though, like a certain thing we won't talk about. Because if they do that, then anybody who plays the game is going to be bored out of their mind right away. So
True. And that was one of the things that gamers were upset about, that it wasn't 100% based on the game. But the fact is, if you, in the game, you have a permadeath, right? So in the movie, if you had a permadeath, you'd lose all the characters. And then what are they going to build the sequel with? You got to think about that. Because they got to introduce new characters.
And with all of Supermassive's games, one of the achievements is for everybody surviving, and one of the achievements is for nobody surviving. So,
True. No, absolutely. So I liked it. And there was another movie I saw at the Sunscreen Film Festival It's called America: The Uncivil War. And I want to touch on it a little bit. We don't have to get into massive topic about it. But what was really interesting about this, it was made by David Syracuse, and I can't remember Ian's last name, but he used to work for Universal Studios Pictures for 20 years. So he was there during the golden era of Universal. He helped get this movie produced, and basically what it's about is kind of like we all went through the pandemic, and we all went through the lockdowns, and we all went through the heated political climate at the time of that situation where people were either for or against something. And the movie kind of points that out, and it talks about the division in America, but it has a very strong message that no matter where you stand, everybody should come together. Like, it's okay to disagree, but it's not okay to hate because somebody has a different opinion. And I thought that was the perfect message in this movie. And the interesting part of it was that it was written from the side that would be more right-leaning. And, you know, he kind of showed how he's right-leaning in the movie, and he goes online on Facebook and he starts arguing with people, and what that kind of turned into. And it kind of turned into protests at his business and, you know, damage to himself and his business because he engaged in online arguing. And at the end of the movie, it was kind of like he has a friend who's on the left side of the situation, left-leaning, and they play basketball together. And at the end of the movie, it was kind of like, hey, you know what? Let's be more friends and talk to each other rather than believing everything we see on social media and becoming afraid and angry. And just turn off that echo chamber. Like, you don't need to be in an echo chamber of everybody that has the same opinion as you. And you don't need to be in an echo chamber of everybody against you either. But you need to find some middle ground where everybody can just get along, you know? And that's what I like about the movie. That was the strong message in the movie. And David Syracuse did a phenomenal job. And he's actually going to be in 2 more upcoming features as well.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, I just looked up their Rotten Tomatoes thing to see what you were talking about. So let's see.
And they actually broke records.
It's actually called The Uncivil War: America Divided is the actual full name. It's got 96 for the viewership. The tomato meter, in other words, no critics. This almost looks like it is on Prime Video available. But since they didn't do a wide release, the critics never really done anything with it. And it was actually released last year initially. Probably did the circuit.
Yeah.
Hey, Lemon.
It won a lot of awards, something like over 50 awards already, I believe. I have to put the interview up with Ian. But it was really mind blowing. And then I also got to see Dr. Quarantine with Tara Reid. I didn't get to see the whole movie because I was preoccupied with some interviews. But what I did,
staring at Tara Reid is what you were doing. Yeah.
No, she wasn't there at the time that it was being shown. But it was interesting enough. No, Lemon, no mustard on that pizza, man. You can't do that. It's anti-pizza. That's the anti-pizza committee. And anti-fun committee. But Tara Reid did a great job in that movie, Dr. Quarantine. It was pretty much her as the main actress, and there was a couple people that showed up in it, like a little girl and her husband who passed away in the movie. And it was kind of like she had a breakdown during the lockdown and couldn't tell reality from fiction, and if her family was still alive or not. And there's some stuff that goes into that. I don't want to spoil in case it does get a major release, but she did a phenomenal job acting. And I haven't really seen her in stuff besides Sharknado and American Pie, and but she did a great job in this. I also got a really cool interview with her on the red carpet, and I asked her, I said, you have some fans out there. You do have a lot of fans out there from Sharknado and stuff. And is there any message you like to say to your fans? And she said, I love my fans. I love my fans because if anybody comes to pick on me, my fans stick up for me. So I thought that was kind of cool that, she loves her fans. And I hope more actors and people in the industry do appreciate their fans like she did.
Well, she has to because she did like Sharknado. So,
Yeah.
you know.
And then the other thing that is awesome. No, back. Don't even. No, back. Put that thought away and throw out all the mustard bottles immediately. No. I asked Alex Ross's agent, Sal Abenani. He's like, no mustard on pizza. No.
Yeah, I saw one of your interviews with those three people, and they were like, yeah. And I'm like, ew, nasty.
Yeah,
one of them even said he would put dog poop on pizza or something.
Oh, that was Andy Bierzak, and he is the lead singer of Black Veil Brides. And he was with his wife, Lilith Czar. And he had a funny response to that, right? Like, he didn't even, a lot of people pointing out he didn't answer the question, that he was just circling around the question, that he talked about, hey, put poop, hey, poop garbage, I don't care. But that was a really cool response, to be honest with you. Like, I was a little surprised on the red carpet he gave that, and he reposted that clip on TikTok, so all his fans saw it, and I've been getting a lot of messages about it. But yeah, no, he's a really, listen, man, I'm going to tell you something about Andy Bierzak. I knew nothing about the Black Veil Brides or anything about him personally. And there was a guy named Joshua Schultz there to show his film Ride or Die, which stars one of the villains from Sons of Anarchy. And Josh is an amazing photographer. Like, I've looked at some of his stuff now, and his photography is mind-blowing. Like, the stuff he does, it's so talented. He does photos for David Hasselhoff. He did stuff for Paramore, Jared Leto, a lot of other celebrities. And he decided that he was going to make another film, a short film. He did Americana, but now he did Ride or Die, which is a Bonnie and Clyde origin story. And he's on the red carpet talking about, his film. And his friends, Andy Bierzak, Black Veil Brides, and Lazar, who's a singer. She was also on The Voice back in, I think, 2016. They show up to support him. Like, how awesome is that to have friends like that will show up and support you? And they weren't even in the movie. They weren't even in the movie. Lil Lazar had one song in the movie, but other than that, that was crazy to me.
Yep. A lot of times they'll do that, especially, so I'm trying to find the because there's a lot of movies called Ride or Die, 2 of them for this year alone.
Yeah, so. if you look up Joshua Schultz, Schultz, Ride or Die, it should pop up on IMDb.
Got it. Yep.
Let me see if I can play. I don't know if I can play it. I don't know if it'll.
In fact, Joshua Schultz he appears in the movie as well.
Yeah, he does. So that was really cool to see that kind of support. And other than that, as far as movies go, I haven't really seen anything, but I do want to say congratulations to Minecraft for their massive success with the movie. Whether people saw it out of curiosity because they truly love Minecraft, it could be debated, or if they just like throwing popcorn in the theater is another debatable thing. However,
or their kids were going, we want to go see this movie. We want to go see this movie. We want to go see this movie. So.
But the fact is, it did really well.
Yep.
So to me, that tells me that Hollywood's coming back. I know we talked about this on Twitter a little bit, or X as it's called these days. That, yesterday I did a poll and everybody said that Hollywood was the one that was in trouble. It's like in worse shape than gaming and comics. Then today, ironically, the price increase was announced. I redid the poll, and guess what? Gaming's in worse shape today. All of a sudden, everybody flipped their votes to gaming because they don't like the price increase. But I want to tell you something. I think that, I think we're coming up to a point where gaming is on a bigger crisis than people realize. I think, inflation is part of the trigger here, greed to an extent with some companies, and just a lot of it, right? Some may attribute to tariffs or not, but listen, there is product on U.S. soil that has not been in the process of being shipped during the tariffs. There's stuff that's already on U.S. soil that's already going up for everybody. And I just think that's kind of wrong. The reason why gaming was so successful is because they kept their prices the same for so many years and people could afford to buy in. But now with their price increases, it's going to like level off and push people out of the market from being able to play video games. And it's going to cause poor sales eventually. Maybe not immediately, but eventually people are going to come up to this decision where, are they going to buy one game or are they going to buy 2 games this year? Because you, at one point in time, you could buy 3 games for $180, right? If you're buying it $60 a pop, 60, 120, 180. But now 180 will only get you 2 games. So it's going to be a lot harder for people to afford this hobby.
I will agree with one thing I saw. This is probably partially going to, and it may be their plan, going to drive more people to Game Pass. Because instead of being able to buy 1 or 2 games, you know, for whatever it is, you know, $16.95 or even $19.95 a month, whatever it is, you can get all the first party stuff, you know, access to it. And we know that they've kind of been wanting to push that anyway. That's what the whole Play Anywhere thing is about. I can't say I'm happy about this. This will probably make this console, the one I currently have, will probably be the last console I own. And not just because of Xbox. And I want to make very clear here, I was as critical of PlayStation and critical of Nintendo when they announced, one, their price increases and the price of the new Nintendo coming out, as I am with this. This does not make me happy. This could very well end up pricing me out of a hobby that helps me socially, because I'm pretty much a shut-in, and so you're shutting me out, because $600 for me is a crap load of money. You know, I mean, that's not something I can easily afford at all. If I were to have to replace the Xbox I currently have, I don't think I could do it. Yeah, yes, I have a PC that'll run a lot of these games, but even then, at some point, the prices to upgrade the PCs are probably going to go up as well. And so that is not a cheap thing to keep up with, as anybody who does it will tell you. A new video card, if you need, for any reason, nowadays you don't really need a new sound card unless you're really into that kind of stuff, because it's all on the board. But if you've got to replace the motherboard, if you've got to replace the CPU, if you've got to add more memory, it starts to add up. And at some point, the old system you have no longer becomes upgradable because of changes in the technology, and all of a sudden you've got to replace the whole damn thing anyway. And I guarantee you that $500 or $600 is not going to get you the equivalent of any of those consoles at that time. So
yeah,
it's you know, for me, I could be looking at the beginning of the end of my gaming life. And I know that sounds weird, but it's the honest truth. You know, so I am not happy, but at the same time, I can see what they're doing. I can see why they did it. But the selfish part of me goes, well, shit, I'm done. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's going to be a hard issue for a lot of people. We are in a time where economics is a lot harder for a lot of people to save financially. People are working more jobs than ever. The unemployment rate is rising. We don't know how the tariffs are going to kind of like handle themselves going forward. We don't know if it's going to end up truly being the greatest idea or truly being the worst idea. We feel its impact right now, right? But we don't know 3 years from now how it's going to turn out. We also don't know that if companies see that people are paying the desperate prices after the tariffs, that they might go, okay, well, if people are willing to pay this, well, even when the tariffs go away, we're just going to keep this price anyway. I mean, people don't think about those things. We're in a climate where corporations kind of like run the world to an extent. Back in the 60s, when they experimented with tariffs, or the 50s or whatever it was, corporations didn't have this much power.
And I will say that, one, whenever prices go up, they usually do not tend to go back down.
Eggs.
As and as we've seen, even with video cards, as the supply lines have opened back up, you really haven't seen the price of video cards go back down.
No.
So, and then I also want to point out that one of my biggest issues is if this would have been okay, our new console, brand new console coming out, not a mid-gen refresh, but our new console coming out in 2027 is going to be this much, and it's going to be expensive. I would have been okay. We kind of expected that, but to jack up by $100 the price on a piece of 5-year-old hardware, just like I said with the jackups on the price of the PlayStation, it doesn't make sense, except for, okay, we know they ate some money on each console sold, but those consoles were sold a long time ago. And, so, I don't get it. I mean, I do get it, but it's in the end, like people are saying this. And like I've said, this is going to put a lot of people off of getting the hardware, which Xbox may not care. But look, if hardware starts to fall off on the other companies too, then all of a sudden all those software sales are going to drop off as well. Because yes, I can play Xbox games on my Fire Stick. Yes, I can play Xbox games on my toaster. I don't give a, but it's not the same. It's like and I think that, so in that sense, I think Microsoft will be okay because, well, they're putting their games everywhere for a reason. And now you're seeing the reason. So from a business standpoint, from a shareholder standpoint, I can go, okay, I can see this. But from a consumer standpoint, this sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody wants to buy me a crap load of stock in Microsoft, go for it, because then I won't give a shit. No, I'm kidding.
Well, Dreadpool says, how do you expect to reach more gamers when no one can afford the hardware or games? You have a good point, and this is where I think companies are going to start relying more on subscription services or cheap ways of entry, like Paul mentioned, the Fire Stick or something. And I think we're going to see more than Xbox experiment with this. I mean, Xbox was the first to do it, and I'm glad they did do it because of what's happening right now. I'm very happy that we do have Game Pass and that they are still honoring the way Game Pass works. That's a huge thing to do. But I hope to see PlayStation follow suit and make theirs as good as Xbox's. Theirs has gotten better over the years, but it's still not the same as on par with Xbox.
And I will say that, me personally, currently as of right now, my Game Pass is good through December of 2027. So, and I will, it's not like I'm going to stop stacking onto that as I can over the next 2 years. No.
Yeah, I think that's something important for everybody to think about as a future and to stack up on that kind of stuff.
That's why a lot of times I always say that I have that, and it's not that the price increases don't bother me, it's that they don't affect me. That's a different thing as far as Game Pass goes. And as far as day one releases on Game Pass goes. On that level, they don't affect me directly, but I can still see why this is not a good thing.
Now, one thing that I am disappointed about is that these are older consoles at this point. I really wish the Series S was not increasing. I really don't see the reason for that, but again, I'm not on the financial side of the business. It's just my consumer side talking that I'm disappointed to see that happen because I do want to get a Series S at some point. And Dreadpool says, but everyone's starting to block or limit stacking. I don't know about that, but I hope they don't.
Well, Xbox, Microsoft changed that. It was never unlimited. It was up to 3 years at one point. Now I think it's only up to like a year and a half.
Wow.
Maybe a year. But because that way they keep you coming back as those prices. But like I said, right now, currently I'm over a year and a half. So I don't know how it counts because I was already over that point.
Interesting.
But when I put now there have been times if I've got a 3 month, if I was gifted a 3 month code and I put it in, it would tell me that this goes over. You can't use this because it goes over your limit. So then I just hang on to it until I can throw it in there.
Okay. I mean, that still works.
It's just a matter of remembering that the code is there.
Yeah.
I've made myself little notes on my calendar. Put code in today. You know, so there are ways to deal with it. I don't know. I don't know what the limit is right now. I'm sure if you were to go to the Game Pass page, it would tell you. Um, but I know, like I said, right now that I'm good. What is essentially over a year and a half at this point, almost 2 years. So
That's definitely a plus to have. So I didn't know that they were starting to limit that. I wonder if PlayStation is limited as well.
yeah, PlayStation is limited as well. I think they did it first, actually.
Wonder is Nintendo going to do it?
I don't know, because I don't have a Nintendo. I can't say I've never used it, but the current iteration of Nintendo I've never dealt with personally.
You know, here's the thing. Here's the tricky thing, right? So we see these consoles rising in prices, right? The Switch 2 initially looked like it was a disaster. But now Xbox and PlayStation just handed Nintendo the keys to the kingdom and say, hey, come this holiday season, if you're looking for a console for your kids, check out the Nintendo Switch 2 because it's more affordable right now. So, yep. And it's newer hard. I mean, even though the tech in it might be older, to people, it looks like newer hardware. To people that are getting into the game, like, oh, this is brand new. It's, it just came out this year. They're not looking at the fact that Xbox Series X is still more powerful. That's going to the sideline. Or PlayStation Pro is more powerful. That's going to the sideline because the Switch 2 is brand new hardware.
Yep. By the way, as according to two sources, starting in September of last year, 13 months is the limit for the Game Pass. Now, some of us must have been grandfathered over because I have way more than that. So.
Okay, so that's definitely good.
Yep.
When I think about this, man, I'm just disappointed. I did not see this coming. I feel like every time that Xbox does something good, they do something to reverse all the good that they've done.
Yeah. And the day after, hey, we had a great quarter. Now you're all going to eat it. Okay. What the hell?
I feel like that too. I do feel like that. And maybe
that's like some of the years I've had where it was like, happy birthday, Paul. The next day, by the way, we're going to ask you to move out. What the hell?
Happy birthday, Paul. Here's $100. By the way,
that was my 18th birthday weekend. I shit you not. Okay, that's exactly what went down.
Man, that's terrible. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I'm just disappointed in this news. I don't know what to say except that I'm sad, and I hope it can be reconsidered, and I hope after this whole tariff situation goes away, they can drop the prices back down. I just don't think that's going to happen realistically. And I'm saying this across the board for everybody, not just Xbox. I'm talking about PlayStation. We're talking about the Switch 2. And I hope these big publishers don't get the idea and say, oh, well, now that all this is happening across the console space, let's raise the digital space on Steam. Because the PC players are not going to play around. They will get really angry, and they will find ways to play your game unauthorized if you try to do that stuff. So there's that. And also...
Okay, so just so you know, because I pulled up the chart that I sent you. The Series S, the one you were talking about, both versions have gone up $80 in pricing. According to
oh, that hurts.
The Series X, of course, we know has gone up basically $100 for both versions, the digital and the series and the regular. The 2 terabyte has gone up from $599 to $729, so not $200, but it may as well be at that point. Even the controllers and stuff, like the core controller, that has not changed price. The wireless controller has gone up, and I know it hasn't. So it looks like some of the controllers haven't until you get to Xbox wireless controller. Any limited editions gone from $79 to $89. Xbox Elite Wireless Controller Series 2. Those stay the same. Xbox Elite Controller Series 2 with the full kit, that's the case and all the add-ons, has gone up $20. The headset, the nice wireless headset, that has gone up $10 from 109 to 119, but you can often get it on sale for like 90. And remember, that started at $99 because I remember when it first came out, that was the whole thing. It was just sub $100 for the thing. I actually bought one at the time. So now it's 120. And it's a nice headset. Is it $120 nice? I don't know.
As Dreadpool said, they keep stepping on rakes. I think the whole industry is stepping on rakes right now. It's like you had the golden pizza, Paul, and then they dropped the pineapple on it, and now it's worthless.
It's like that bit in The Simpsons with Sideshow Bob, and only every time he turns around, he's stepping on a rake, and he just turns around another way, stepping on another rake. It's like.
Yeah, so I mean, we're disappointed about that, and the other thing I want to say is that I honestly think that Hollywood's in a better place than the gaming industry, and I say that because even though for some indie filmmakers it's hard to get funding, there's more investors ready and willing to invest in the movie industry for indie films than there is to indie game studios. And Hollywood has this thing called Section 181 for movies where people can donate and they could write it off on a tax form, which I don't know all the legalities of that. So, of course, if you're thinking about investing in movies, check with your local lawyer. But I hear that's what a lot of investors are doing now. They're doing that to invest in indie films and movies, and they like going to premieres and win awards for what they invested in. And
I also think that the movie industry is still shifting too. They're still trying to figure out if they're going to do theaters or if they're going to go straight to screen or what they're still kind of in that little game, because I think they're still not sure how that's going to work out. Like we talked about, people were complaining about Minecraft and the people making noise and singing with the movie and doing TikToks and crap. And now they're going, hey, we're going to do special showings starting this weekend, doing special showings so that you can make noise, throw shit, and take pictures with the screen. Yeah. So basically, Minecraft is becoming the new Rocky Horror. I want you to picture that. Okay.
Back said it's like the time I tried margarita pizza with lemon and the toppings didn't stay on. The whole cheese fell off. They rigged it back. That's what happened. They rigged it so the cheese fell off.
Uh-huh.
So that's probably why they put mustard on their pizza over there, so the cheese stays on, because it's like nice, thick, golden, spicy mustard. And their cheese probably falls off all the time where he eats his pizza. It's got to be like glue. I don't know, Paul. Is there anything else that you want to bring up? Anything else that you are concerned about going on?
Nah, not that I can think of. I mean, that's a big one. That one kind of sucked the wind out of everybody for all the positive we could have talked about the earnings report from yesterday. And all the wind got sucked out of that one, So, I mean, it is what it is, and as we talked about, there's not much we can do about it. Maybe with some of the quote bad press or the kickback, some of this will be adjusted a little bit because we've seen them do that before, but I wouldn't count on it. Again, like I always say, we don't always have the full story. We don't know what their actual numbers are. We don't know what's being affected, on the back end. But like you said, the stuff that's already sitting in warehouses waiting to be shipped, that stuff shouldn't be affected. That's already been produced. That's already been boxed and ready to go. So why are we paying the new prices on that? That's just a profit. That's just a pure profit thing at that point. So
let me see if I can. I don't know if I'll be able to. I'm gonna try to anyway, guys. I'm gonna try to bring up this thing on TikTok that's with the pizza. The long form video is probably gonna be able to hear it. I don't know about the short form. Or it could just crash this whole thing that we're.
Just crash the whole thing, you know, with your talking about needing to update your PC. Holy cow!
Do you guys like pineapple on pizza?
I'm gonna be honest.
No, I think that it's the problem that I have is that I'm using too many resources at once.
Again, that still comes down to your PC probably needs a little upgrade.
The chip, I could use a better chip for sure.
How much memory do you have?
64.
Oh yeah, you have enough memory, so maybe just the chip, and also helps you know if you're running on an SSD or if you're running on a physical hard drive, that can adjust some of that. But
To the negative people in the world telling you to not have a topping
Alright, so
on
they're
pizza.
hearing
I don't
it
care
on
what
the
you put on
short
pizza. You
form
put
right
garbage,
now. And then I'm gonna
poop,
move over to
whatever it
the
is. If that's what you want.
To me, it's like the same idea of like dipping French fries into like a milkshake. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, it's not
Right? It's like-
1984.
Wait, people do that?
I do that.
We're not
You
looking
don't
at a
do that?
VHS camera.
I never heard of it.
You
Oh,
gotta do
you
that.
got to do that. Or like, have you ever
Oh,
had what are they
those
called?
did
The
some good
square
quality work.
crackers, the
Saltine?
saltine with ice cream.
Never did that either.
You gotta get down. Yeah, it's the salty and sweet.
Yeah.
The riskiest thing I ever had was banana and peanut butter.
Oh, what?
Why is that?
Everybody
Paul.
does that.
I've done that.
I do that all the time. I do it in shakes. I do it a la carte.
I have it in
So
my pants
everybody
right
watching
now.
the short form, this is Lady Grzak from the
This one's
Blackfield Bride.
peanut butter. This one's
And,
banana.
Talking about pineapple pizza.
And what about
He
you?
gave
Pineapple
a
on
great
pizza?
answer. Joshua Schultz
Yeah,
said that
I like
he
all
eats
kinds of
everything,
pizza,
doesn't matter.
so
He's just-
I'm just boring.
Yeah.
you put
I'll
it
take
in
whatever
front of his
pizza I can
he'll
get.
eat it.
I like pizza
So,
on pizza. Do you ever do that?
Paul, do
No,
not
what about-
say
Take a piece of
anybody about
pizza
the
and then you
mustard
stack another piece of pizza on top of it.
Double decker pizza?
Sandwich.
But now I'm going to go ahead and remove that from there. And we're going to put this on the long form. Okay. Now it won't delete over there, so we have a slight problem. Which means that the whole thing is freezing up, guys. It messed up the whole vertical stream. Oh, man. No, nobody puts fries in a Wendy's Frosty.
Actually, that's an old school thing. I do know people that used to. That goes back to the 50s, dude.
That goes back to the caveman times with you, Paul. Paul's like, shut up.
Putting fries in your shake or putting peanuts in your Coke. That's old school stuff.
All right, so if this breaks, guys, that means Paul and I will have to end the stream. But I'm going to try to get it over here running.
Do you guys like pineapple on pizza?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't give a shit.
Nice!
I think people have way too many opinions about it. No, let me be clear. If you like pineapple on pizza, please continue to eat it. Stop listening to the negative people in the world telling you to not have a topping on a pizza. I don't care what you put on pizza. You put garbage, poop, whatever it is. If that's what you want.
To me, it's like the same idea of like dipping French fries into like a milkshake. Do you know what I mean? Right? It's like
Wait, people do that?
I do that.
Yeah, you've never
you
done
don't
that?
do that?
I never heard of it.
You gotta do
You
that.
got to do that. Or like, have you ever had what are they called? The square crackers, the
Saltine?
saltine with ice cream.
Never did that either.
You gotta get down. Yeah, it's the salty and sweet.
Yeah.
The riskiest thing I ever had was banana and peanut butter.
Oh, what?
Why is that
Everybody does
I don't know if
that.
I've done that.
I do that all the time. I do it in shakes. I do it a la carte.
I have it in my pants right now. This one's peanut butter. This one's banana. Fill up my pockets with it.
Can confirm.
And what about you? Pineapple on pizza?
Yeah, I like all kinds of pizza, so I'm just boring.
Yeah.
I'll take whatever pizza I can get.
I like pizza on pizza. Do you ever do that?
No, what about
Take a piece of pizza and then you stack another piece of pizza on top of it.
double decker pizza?
Sandwich.
There you go. Rollo, you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Gonna say I'm watching the stream going, it ended. You're being dead silent.
All right, so everybody, with that, without further ado, I think I froze on screen for a second. So we're gonna go ahead and end it here. Paul's got things to do. He's a celebrity,
Right.
paparazzi, Pineapple Paul.
Probably gonna go watch a bad movie. So or play some game or something.
No Italian tacos, Triple. That's not Italian tacos. It's fine pizza. It's fine pizza. Do you know who ruined pizza with pineapples? It happened in Canada. But can you guess what descendants they were from? Greece. Greece.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Blame
I-
Canada.
Blame Canada. All right, Paul.
So
What?
you can find me on X, formerly Twitter, at Cerebral Paul 1, Twitch at Cerebral Paul. Let's see. You can find me here on Thursdays. You can find me Wasted with Wise on Fridays. I am one of the editorial staff for the Lords of Gaming. And let's see. I think that's about it. So there you go.
I feel like you're missing a show there. I don't know which one.
I mentioned this one.
Did
But
you
no, we don't
mention
remember.
retro?
Yeah. Retro Renegades on Tuesdays when I say
I knew you forgot one. I knew it.
it.
All right, everybody. Well, you can catch me on 4GQ TV. PK should be back shortly, hopefully. Majestic Mayhem on Sundays with Dreadpulse. How does that dealer say it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that dealer has a new saying that Dreadpool's with her or something. So anyway, check us out. Check out all our content. Talk to you guys later, and thanks for watching.